Good morning. I'm Barbara Bal, the Conservative candidate for Nepean, and we are so honoured to be hosting Pierre Poilievre for a Canada First announcement this morning. Right after high school, I joined the Canadian Armed Forces and served for 10 years as a reserve member of the Royal Canadian Artillery. I came up through the ranks from gunner to master bombardier, achieving the rank of lieutenant and serving as a gun position officer. I've trained at bases across Canada, from Gagetown to Petawawa to Shiloh to Chilliwack. These were unforgettable times. Those 10 years, that decade, shaped my life. Military service is not easy, but it's oh so rewarding. And I truly believe there is no higher calling than service to our country. And I am so proud to have worn the uniform. Today, the Liberals have inflated our food prices and our housing prices. They have unleashed crime across our communities, and they have made our economy weak and dependent on the U.S. They do not deserve another 4 years. The Canada First Conservatives will put Canada first for a change. The Conservatives will ensure that we axe the tax, build the homes, cut the waste, secure our borders, and unleash our resources to bring home our jobs so we can stand against Trump from a position of strength. It is my great honour to be able to introduce to you the leader of the Canada First Conservatives and the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Pierre Poilievre.
Look at that cinnamon coat. Very beautiful, eh? Wow. Friendly, eh? Wow. We brought our kids, they want to steal your dog. Not sure that would work. Yeah. All right, well done. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Bonjour tout le monde. Jour 21 de l'élection du changement. And thank you very much, everyone. 21st day of the change election campaign. And we have the great Barbara Bal here, our candidate in Nepean, military veteran herself. When she was a very young woman, she used to actually pick up massive howitzer artillery shells and fire them off. So she still has her hearing, though, somehow, amazingly. And I said that at one of our previous press conferences, and she ran off. She was worried that I might have got the weight of the howitzer shells wrong. It turned out I did. They're not 100 pounds, they're 103 pounds. So if she can carry that kind of weight, then she can definitely represent the great people of Nepean. And it is great to be back here. Nepean, a great place to be in, as I like to say. As you know, Barbara served in the Royal Canadian Artillery for a decade and has worked for over many years, in the 25 years actually, as a member of the police service, mostly here in Ottawa. She is a very strong voice, and her major focus has been on making life affordable and safe again in Nepean. I was just talking to Barbara outside, and I said, what are people saying at the doors? And many are saying they can barely hang on. Interest rates on their very high mortgages are really pinching their families, budgets, threatening their ability to stay in their homes. Liberal inflation has driven up food 37% faster in Canada than in the U.S. The Liberal housing crisis has doubled the cost of owning a home and renting one, and people are saying they can't afford a fourth term of Liberals under Mr. Carney, and the same Liberal MPs, ministers, and strategists who gave us the lost Liberal decade. Yet Mark Carney is in hiding today and yesterday. He was trying to make Canadians forget that the government for which he was the economic advisor doubled housing costs, doubled lineups at food banks, doubled our national debt, sent $500 billion pouring out of our country, that for the first time in our history, after a decade of Liberals, our youth can't afford homes or start families. He's trying to make Canadians forget that crime is raging out of control. And he's hiding from questions about his own multi-million dollar conflicts of interest that he does not want to disclose, even though he admits that he has them. That is more evidence that we need change. We need change to make your life affordable again, change to make your streets safe, change to strengthen our economy so that we can stand on our own 2 feet and stand up to the Americans and any other foreign economies that seek to threaten us. That's why I'm so excited to have a team that will bring that change. We have Greg Kung from Canada, Blair Turner from Ottawa South, Dean Wyth from Vanier, Steve Mansour from Orleans, Paul Orsonen from Ottawa Centre, 35-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces himself. We're also joined by the folks from Valor Guard Protection, a veteran-owned business that is giving civilian jobs to veterans in the field of private security. These brilliant and brave men and women have kept Canadians safe in our military, and now they keep businesses and other places safe from threats here at home. Before I get into addressing the policy at hand, let me just say that we need strong leadership to deliver the change that Canadians need in these challenging times. The change that I'm talking about will mean that Canadians will be able to live in safe neighborhoods again because we'll lock up criminals, that they'll be able to bring home more of their paycheck because we will cut their taxes, that they will get more and better tools at work because we're going to unleash more investment by allowing capital gains taxes to be reinvested with no tax as long as they're reinvested here in Canada. They'll be able to afford homes as we axe the federal sales tax on housing, and we incentivize municipalities to lower their development taxes to save $100,000 a home. But no one deserves the Canadian promise more than our brave veterans who defended it in the first place. Canadians owe everything to our veterans. Their sacrifices have made it possible for us to live in one of the freest and safest countries in the world. The veterans that have sacrificed so much to defend our country deserve to have all of us championing them. They put everything aside so future generations can enjoy the same peace and security we enjoy today. In return for that sacrifice, Canada's veterans deserve a government that fights for them. That's a core part of the Canadian promise. But after the lost Liberal decade, the government has failed our veterans. Too often, they face bureaucratic roadblocks that prevent them from accessing their benefits or earning a living. Time and again, the Liberals have promised to stand by our veterans but have let them down. Despite promising the veterans would never have to fight their own government in court, that's exactly what the Liberals continue to do. En tant que Canadiens, on doit tout à nos vétérans, nos anciens combattants. Grâce à leur sacrifice, c'est grâce à leur sacrifice qu'on peut vivre en liberté aujourd'hui. Ceux qui ont tant sacrifié pour défendre notre pays viennent de tous milieux. Ils ont tout mis à côté pour pouvoir défendre les générations futures. En reconnaissance de leur sacrifice, les anciens combattants du Canada méritent un gouvernement qui se batte pour eux. C'est un élément essentiel de la promesse canadienne. Mais après la décennie perdue des libéraux, le gouvernement a abandonné nos anciens combattants. Trop souvent, ils se trouvent devant les obstacles bureaucratiques qui les empêchent d'avoir accès aux prestations qui leur sont dues. À maintes reprises, les libéraux ont promis de soutenir nos anciens combattants, mais ils les ont laissés tomber. Alors qu'ils avaient promis que les anciens combattants n'auraient jamais besoin de se battre en cours pour leur propre bénéfice, c'est exactement ce que le gouvernement a forcé nos vétérans à faire. When our veterans said that they needed help and they needed the benefits that they had earned, Justin Trudeau said famously that they were asking more than we are able to give right now, right after handing millions of dollars to a convicted terrorist. The Liberals also promised to bring back lifelong pensions for injured veterans, but they broke that promise too. They pledged to make it easier for veterans to access services. Yet under the Liberals, veterans were left stranded as the number of case managers was cut and the number of veterans waiting for disability benefits exploded. Today, I'm announcing that my Conservative government will put veterans first for a change. As Prime Minister, I will ensure veterans' benefits are in place before they leave the military and will automatically approve disability applications if they are not treated within 16 weeks. We will give veterans full control of their medical records. We will let military doctors assess injuries using one standardized system and ensure PTSD service dogs are available to veterans who need them with consistent national standards for support. We will also let them access education and training benefits to immediately kick in right on the release date, without unnecessary delays that push back the ability of young veterans to get trained up for a new job. Just as the last Conservative government did, we will support the Helmets to Hard Hats program, allowing veterans to go from service in the military to service in the civilian economy, fixing up big machines like this one, for which they would already have lots of experience working on heavy machinery in the forces. We will add spouses of veterans and Canadian Armed Forces members who want work with the Canadian government to the Veterans Hiring Act. And speaking of that, we will expand the veterans hiring preference so that we double the number of public service jobs that are preferred for veterans. We'll also prefer veteran-owned businesses for federal contracts. We're going to double the number of veterans that are hired every year working in government positions, so that they can take their precious military experience and use it to deliver across all government services, but in particular in the Veterans Affairs Department. And for our veterans leaving the military for good jobs in the private sector, we will provide you with the documentation you need to have your skills recognized. I want to work with the Red Seal Council, which is the national licensing body for the trades, to find a way to get recognition for trades-related work that military members have done in the forces. So if you've worked on heavy machinery in the forces, we should be giving you hours recognition when you come out so that you have a shorter time span to get your Red Seal license in a similar trade. We should ensure that colleges and polytechnics also provide recognition for the military skill sets that people pick up. So when I was a Minister of Employment, we partnered with BCIT, the trade school in that province, to get course recognition for military experience. So if you had a background in leadership in the military, well, you shouldn't have to take a bunch of entry-level courses on leadership when you go to BCIT or another educational institute. We will do pilot projects that encourage universities, colleges, polytechnics, training halls to give credit for things already learned, so that there's a shorter training time that launches our brilliant veterans from a career in the military into a high-paying job in the private sector. We're also going to work to make sure that military veterans get the support they deserve. Our government will guarantee that you will keep more of what you earn. So right now, we're punishing the work of veterans. A veteran comes out, they're on a military pension. They get a job, they immediately start triggering clawbacks. So the government says, well, you don't need that support payment anymore because you've got your own job. Well, the job should be giving them extra income. It shouldn't be a replacement income. Why would we want to punish a veteran who's maybe 45 years old and goes out into the private sector and offers something to our economy? They should get more money. So we're going to review and reduce the military clawbacks for earned income to allow the veterans to have a big, powerful paycheck. I want them to bring home more money. They earned their pension, and now they're earning an income. One should stack on top of the other. We shouldn't replace one with the other. We're going to make hard work pay off for all Canadians, but it should be especially rewarding for our veterans. We will also recognize the veteran service cards as valid government ID nationwide. We will complete a national monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan. It's really incredible. You know, the beginning of this century saw Canadians go over to literally the most dangerous place in the world. And pound for pound, other than maybe the British and the Americans, maybe, there's no one that did more than the Canadians to defeat the Taliban and crush al-Qaeda in the aftermath of 9/11. Our young people went there, they faced IEDs and some of the most brutal opponents on the battlefield, and there's still no completed national monument. This is outrageous. You know, this is, it's been 15, 20 years, and these people who gave so much, they deserve to be recognized, and they need a place to go to express themselves and to live out their memories and really experience the gratitude that we should all have for the enormous courage that they showed. We will also officially recognize Persian War veterans, Persian Gulf War veterans, and their wartime service. After the lost Liberal decade, Canada's veterans can't afford a fourth Liberal term of disrespect and broken promise. Nos anciens combattants méritent mieux. Ils se sont battus pour nous. Il est temps qu'un gouvernement se batte pour eux. Aujourd'hui, j'annonce que mon gouvernement conservateur va mettre les anciens combattants d'abord pour faire changement. En tant que Premier ministre, je vais m'assurer que les prestations des anciens combattants soient en place avant qu'ils quittent les forces canadiennes et je vais approuver automatiquement les demandes de prestations d'invalidité qui ne sont pas traitées en 16 semaines. On va aussi donner aux anciens combattants le contrôle de leur dossier médical. On va permettre aux médecins militaires d'évaluer les blessures en utilisant un système normalisé et s'assurer que les chiens d'assistance pour le trouble de stress post-traumatique sont disponibles pour les anciens combattants qui en ont besoin, avec une norme nationale cohérente pour le soutenir. On va permettre d'accéder à l'allocation pour les études et formations dès qu'ils auront reçu la date de libération. Pas d'attente. Commencez immédiatement à apprendre une autre habilité ou de vous préparer pour un autre job. Mais on ne va pas arrêter là. Un nouveau gouvernement conservateur va donner la priorité aux anciens combattants pour les emplois dans la fonction publique, donner la préférence aux entreprises appartenant à des anciens combattants dans les contrats fédéraux, doubler l'objectif d'embauche au ministère des anciens combattants et accélérer le renouvellement des habilitations de sécurité pour ceux qui ont déjà et en ont besoin pour un nouveau emploi. On va également ajouter les conjoints des anciens combattants et des membres des Forces armées canadiennes qui veulent travailler pour le gouvernement du Canada à la loi sur l'embauche des anciens combattants. Moi, je pense que l'époux ou l'épouse d'un ancien combattant a une connaissance spéciale, surtout en donnant les services aux familles militaires, parce que il ou elle connaissent très bien la situation d'être une famille militaire et on a besoin de cette connaissance au sein du gouvernement pour livrer des bénéfices d'anciens combattants et des services aux membres des forces armées. Et pour nos anciens combattants qui font la transition vers la vie civile de la secteur privé, vers le secteur privé, on va aussi fournir la documentation qu'ils ont besoin rapidement pour le faire. On va travailler avec le sceau rouge pour mieux reconnaître les habilités acquises dans les militaires pour permettre à nos anciens combattants d'avoir un permis de travailler dans les métiers réglementés à travers le Canada. On va travailler avec les polytechniques, les les collèges, les universités, des centres de formation pour chercher des reconnaissances des habilités déjà acquises par des membres des forces armées. Par exemple, si vous avez des expériences de leadership dans les forces armées, quand vous allez à un collège, vous ne devrez pas devoir aller avec des jeunes de 18 ans prendre une course, une classe en leadership pour un débutant. Vous êtes déjà un leader. Ou si vous avez déjà des habilités en tant que réparation des grandes machines, vous ne devrez pas avoir besoin de refaire exactement les mêmes choses. On devrait reconnaître tout ce que vous avez fait pour accélérer les diplômes, des permis et des autres certificats d'éducation pour accélérer votre carrière dans l'économie civile. Ça inclut aussi la reconnaissance des cartes de service des anciens combattants comme pièce d'identité gouvernementale valide dans tout le pays. On va aussi compléter immédiatement le monument commémoratif pour les vétérans de l'Afghanistan et reconnaître officiellement les anciens combattants de la guerre du Golfe et leur service en temps de guerre. Après les décennies perdues des libéraux, les anciens combattants canadiens ne peuvent pas se permettre un quatrième mandat libéral de manque de respect et de promesses brisées. Only a new Conservative government will respect our veterans, honor their service, and make their lives easier when they return home. We'll also cut their income tax by 15%. We'll take sales tax off new homes and incentivize municipality to cut home building taxes for a total savings of $100,000 on a home. We'll bring in the Canada First Economic Action Plan to unleash our economy, just as Conservatives did before. When we will bring home safe streets by locking up criminals with jail and not bail, shut down drug dens, and treat 50,000 people for addiction. A new Conservative government will bring the change that veterans and all Canadians need. On va réinstaurer la promesse du Canada en permettant à chacun qui travaille fort d'avoir une belle vie dans une belle maison abordable sur une rue sécuritaire. On va le faire en coupant les taxes et les impôts de 15%. On va éliminer le TPS sur les nouvelles maisons et inciter les municipalités d'accélérer la construction. On va mettre les criminels en prison et on va libérer nos ressources naturelles pour pouvoir devenir plus souverains économiquement et énergétiquement. C'est comme ça qu'on va apporter un vrai changement pour les Canadiens. Aujourd'hui, M. Carney se cache encore. Il veut vous faire oublier de la décennie perdue des libéraux, des coûts qui augmentent, les taxes qui sont trop élevées, notre économie qui est en baisse et la nourriture qui est hors de prix. Mais M. Carney ne peut pas cacher du fait que les Canadiens veulent du changement et seulement les conservateurs vont pouvoir le faire. On va réinstaurer la promesse du Canada pour que nous ayons un bel avenir pour tous les Canadiens. We'll bring back the Canadian promise so that everyone from everywhere who works hard can have a great life, a safe and affordable home on a nice street under our proud flag in honor of our great veterans. Canada first, veterans first. Let's bring it home. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to questions, and we're going to start with a question from the teleconference line.
Thanks, guys.
Our first question comes from the line of Raymond Fillion from TVA. Your line is open.
Merci. Bonjour, M. Poilievre.
Oui, bonjour.
Nous sommes à un peu plus de 2 semaines du scrutin. Le vote par anticipation va même commencer vendredi prochain. À l'heure actuelle, les sondages, les projections de sièges donnent la victoire aux libéraux. Il y a même des gens dans votre parti qui disent douter qu'une victoire est possible. Est-ce que vous pensez pouvoir renverser la vapeur et vous misez sur quoi pour renverser la tendance actuelle?
Le changement. Les Canadiens veulent du changement. Après la décennie perdue des libéraux où des coûts augmentent, les gens ne peuvent plus acheter de nourriture ou de logement, il faut que ça change. Mais ce n'est pas un changement. Les mêmes libéraux, la même gang des libéraux, des ministres libéraux, des députés libéraux, des promesses libérales qu'ils ont brisées pendant une décennie. Il nous faut un vrai changement et nous sommes le seul parti qui peut apporter ce changement avec un nouveau gouvernement conservateur qui va couper les taxes et les impôts, libérer nos ressources naturelles, renforcer la sécurité publique et ramener nos emplois ici pour mettre le Canada d'abord pour faire changement.
In English, please.
Well, what are we campaigning on? And the answer is change. After the lost Liberal decade of rising costs and crime, people lining up at food banks, unable to afford homes, we can't afford a fourth Liberal term. And make no mistake, this Liberal Party is the same Liberal Party of the last decade, the same Liberal MPs, same Liberal ministers, same Liberal strategists, making the same Liberal promises that got us into this mess in the first place. And as for Mark Carney, he was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor. He would not have done anything different. He was wrong on every single economic issue of our time. He was wrong to support the carbon tax, wrong to oppose pipelines, wrong to support money printing inflation. And he would do exactly the same thing if he and his Liberal team were re-elected. That's why he's in hiding today. He doesn't want to answer for the lost Liberal decade. He doesn't want to, he wants Canadians to forget that housing costs have doubled, that young people, for the first time in history, can't afford a place to live in Canada. Canadians know we need a change, and we won't get a change with a fourth Liberal term in power. We need a new change with a new government that will axe taxes, unleash home building and resource development to bring home our jobs and put Canada first for a change.
Thank you. We'll now take a question from the floor.
Morning, Sarah Ritchie with the Canadian Press. I want to ask you about Canada's medical assistance in dying laws. Will the Conservative government make any changes to the laws that exist in this country right now? And are you open to expanding them to include advanced directives?
Thank you for your question. People will continue to have the right to make that choice, the choice for themselves. We are not proposing to expand medical assistance in dying beyond the existing parameters. That said, we believe that we also need better health care so that people have all sorts of options. For example, we've announced that we're going to be bringing in a blue seal that will allow us to license the 20,000 immigrant doctors and 32,000 immigrant nurses who are already qualified but not able to practice. By having a blue seal that is based on the red seal we have for the licensed trades, we believe we can accelerate many of those qualified doctors to take a test, prove they're qualified up to our standards, and then get licensed to work in our hospitals, reducing the incredible wait times that we see right across our country. After the lost Liberal decade, there's something like 6 million Canadians who do not have a family doctor. Lineups at our hospitals are worse than ever, and we think that it's reasonable to expect that you should have a family doctor in an advanced country. And we have so many qualified doctors are not able to practice. The low-hanging fruit is to give them a path to licensure, and that's what we will do with the Blue Seal. Thank you.
S'il vous plaît.
Nous allons garder en place le droit aux gens de prendre leurs décisions avec l'aide médicale à mourir. Nous ne visons pas à l'élargir, mais nous allons garder en place ce droit aux gens de prendre cette décision personnelle. En termes de la santé, nous avons besoin de plus de médecins. On a 20 000 médecins immigrants qui ne peuvent pas travailler dans leur domaine. On a 32 000 infirmières qui ne peuvent pas travailler parce qu'ils et elles sont des immigrants et ils n'ont pas de permis. Évidemment, ça c'est provincial, mais au niveau provincial, on a tous accepté le sceau rouge pour les métiers et ça marche, un permis national reconnu volontairement par toutes les provinces. On peut le faire dans la santé et dans les professions aussi. C'est pour ça qu'on va créer un sceau bleu et on va encourager des provinces de l'accepter pour pouvoir accélérer le nombre de médecins et d'infirmières dans notre système. Merci.
Thank you. We'll go to the next question.
Good morning. It's Brian Passivian with the Toronto Sun. I wanted to ask about Israel, and more specifically the hatred that Canadian Jews have faced since the October 7th attacks. Last week, Mr. Carney's comments on Israel sparked an angry response from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And the new video posted online this morning was a Liberal cabinet minister invoking the Israeli genocide myth while campaigning in a mosque. My question is the same one I'm hearing from Jewish voters I've spoken to. With the NDP and the Liberals making their stances known, how will the Conservative government deal with Canada's Israel policy, and what will you do to stop the near-weekly hate marches on Canadian streets?
Thank you. This is a very important question. The rampaging chaos that we see in our streets, the targeting of synagogues and Jewish schools with hate, vandalism, violence, fire bombings of synagogues, these things were unheard of 10 years ago. We've always had debates and disagreements about foreign issues in Canada, but those disagreements did not spill into violence on our streets. People left the violence abroad. That's why they come to this country, is to live in peace and in freedom, so that disagreements can play themselves out in debate, not in fire bombings and physical violence. The Jewish community feels understandably under siege as these hate marches and anti-Semitic outbursts have become an unfortunate part of Canadian life. And frankly, the Liberals have encouraged these divisions. We see what they do. They say one thing to one group and then exactly the opposite to another group. They turn Canadians against Canadians, and they've been doing it for 10 years. And what is the consequence? 251% increase in hate crimes. 251. Now, to be clear, we can't blame all of that on the October 7th attacks, because there was already more than 100% increase in hate crimes before those attacks occurred. This is the direct result of radical liberal policies and divisive rhetoric that has driven our people apart. We will end that. We will bring in tougher laws to target vandalism, hate marches that break laws, violent attacks based on ethnicity and religion. Anyone who's here on a visitor visa who carries out law breaking will be deported from this country, and there will be very serious jail time, and on top of that, fines for anyone who carries out anti-Semitic vandalism or property damage. We need to unite our people. We need to get back to the country we used to have with regards to bringing people together. Used to be that people would come from around the world. They live in peace. They might have different political opinions. They might even squabble about those opinions. But they didn't throw rocks at each other. They didn't firebomb each other's businesses. They didn't break glass. That wasn't how it was in Canada. We need to heal those wounds and bring our people together again so that everyone from every background feels safe. My closing message on this to Canada's Jewish community is you are not alone. You have friends. Canadians stand with you. You have the right to wear your Star of David, your kippah, and have your mezuzah on your door. You should feel proud to be Jewish, and you should never have to hide your Jewishness in order to stay safe. And as your Prime Minister, I will fight for your safety, your security, and your acceptance every single day. Merci beaucoup.
En français, s'il vous plaît.
Merci, monsieur. C'est une très bonne question. On a vu des grandes manifestations énormes qui ont déchiré les communautés. On a vu la violence qui cible les communautés juives à travers le Canada. Les synagogues qui sont frappées par les attaques terroristes. Depuis, avant les dernières années, on n'a pas eu ce chaos. Ça, c'est de nouveau pour le Canada. Avant ce gouvernement qui divise notre population, les Canadiens de toute origine étaient capables de vivre en paix. Ils laissaient leurs problèmes à la porte ou la violence à la porte. Mais le politique extrême et radical des libéraux a causé ce chaos dans nos rues. Moi, je vais mettre en place des lois qui vont mettre en prison ceux qui font la violence pour cibler des communautés ethniques et religieuses. On va mettre en place des pénalités énormes pour la destruction de propriétés. On va expulser du Canada quiconque est ici comme visiteur, mais qui brise les lois lorsqu'ils sont ici. Et finalement, comme Premier ministre, je vais unir les gens. Au lieu d'aller dire une chose dans une communauté et le contraire à une autre pour diviser et conquérir, je vais emmener des gens ensemble, unifier notre peuple à travers le Canada. Finalement, j'ai un message pour la communauté juive. Nous sommes avec vous. Je sais que c'est un temps difficile et pénible ici au Canada, mais ça va changer. On va ramener la paix et la promesse du Canada pour que vous puissiez sentir en sécurité et accepté comme Canadien. Merci.
Thank you. We will now go to the final question.
Bonjour, Julien Paquette avec Le Droit. Je voulais savoir, en fait, vous parlez de l'accès aux services pour les vétérans aujourd'hui. La dernière fois que votre parti était au pouvoir, autour de 2013-2014, il y a eu des centres de services aux anciens combattants qui ont été fermés. Est-ce que c'était une erreur?
Moi, je crois que quand je parle aux vétérans, ils ne parlent pas de ça. Ils parlent de leurs services qui sont nécessaires pour vivre. L'accès aux emplois dans la fonction publique, la reconnaissance de leur habilité, le bénéfice qui arrive dès la première journée de leur retraite. C'est ça les services dont ils ont besoin et c'est ce que nous allons livrer. C'est ça un vrai changement parce qu'après la décennie perdue des libéraux, on ne peut pas nous permettre un quatrième mandat. Un quatrième mandat serait un désastre pour les vétérans. On a besoin d'un changement pour mettre nos vétérans d'abord pour faire changement. Merci. What I hear from veterans is they want services for themselves and their families. They want direct services, not more bureaucracy. I have not encountered a single veteran that says that he needs more bureaucracy. What they're saying is actually they need less bureaucracy so that they can actually get their benefits and get on with their lives. What they need is to have immediate benefits day one of their departure. They need to have their disability claims paid out if they are not treated within 16 weeks. They need their skills recognized so that they can get higher paying jobs. And when they get those jobs, they need to keep their paychecks rather than having them all clawed back. Those are the frontline benefits that veterans are interested in. Liberals are interested in more bureaucracy. That's all they ever do. Their solution to every problem is we need more bureaucracy. They want more they say on housing, they're going to build more bureaucracy instead of building more homes. They say on, the price of food, what we need is a new government bureaucracy for that rather than lowering the tax burden on the farmers and truckers who actually bring us our food. So our focus is on delivering frontline benefits and services without delay to our veterans. They're the ones who are owed this service, and we will deliver that to them. We'll bring a bright new future and a change to put veterans first.
Thank you. This concludes today's press conference. Thank you.